I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. These late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. These late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 Tuesday Indycar Series here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Race 2 of the season, 14 races this season, and we're here tonight at Texas. 135 laps our scheduled distance here this evening. Last week we were at Homestead Miami Speedway, where Edson Santos was able to grab a last lap pass off of Matt Wagner to grab the win there by 14 thousandths of a second. Craig Forsyth, Eric Schaus, and Daniel Durazo rolled off the final top 5 positions. So qualifying going on as we speak. So again, very similar length tracks, 1.5 miles. Obviously, though, layout very, very different than Homestead, being the kind of the oval shape track. Here at Texas, kind of got the D-shaped oval, and this is also the reconfigured Texas Motor Speedway. So turns 1 and 2 going to have to slow it down a little bit more. 3 and 4 probably foot to the floor all the way through. Just depends on dirty air and things of that nature. So that'll be something we watch, is how these drivers manage that dirty air tonight. Kind of one of those always the name of the, I feel like, in with these open wheel. Fuel mileage is here right around the 40 lap mark on basically on full song. So basically that means they could get to lap 120 on normal distance. But does anybody maybe try to stretch a little bit, maybe cut a pit stop out to get to that 135 marker? And of course that just depends on if and when cautions fall, things of that nature. So we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. And also for those that maybe didn't see the schedule last week, we'll go ahead and pop that schedule up here as well. As you can see tonight, Texas, and then we will be back in next week over at Pocono, and then we'll have a week off for the 4th of July weekend. Hopefully everybody has a very happy and safe 4th of July, and then over to Gateway and Chicagoland before another off week there, switching over to the one road course at Watkins Glen, and then another off week over, then jumping to the Auto Club on August 19th for the first half of that season. I apologize for reminding you, Matt, but again, a great run for you. Like you talked about, you said big picture. So again, you want to win them all, but at the same time, I think just, it's like I always say in the super speedway stuff, just keep putting yourself in position. And one of those times you're going to get the break the right way. So right now, drivers putting down their qualifying laps. Looks like we've got about 11 laps, or 11 drivers, I should say, on the board at the moment. And then we'll be joined shortly by a Mr. Andrew Wood. He's hustling on his way over here from work, so appreciate his dedication to joining in and helping out. Really, really fun to do these with him. As Brandon's, our Super Speedway broadcaster, Brandon Briggs, he's looking for a Talladega on the IndyCar side of things. Maybe that could be an off-week idea, Brandon. Maybe we do a Talladega fun race with these cars and with these guys. So you never know. I feel like they might be up to it. So. But yeah, so again, last week, obviously the first race of the season, new build of the car, a lot of things that change for those that are familiar with it, and just a lot of learning, really. So it'll be fun to see if they've been able to make adjustments from last week to this week and make those appropriate changes, maybe find what makes the car work a little bit better for them. Of course, like we talked about before, a lot of tools in these cars. You got the front and rear ARBs, you got the weight jacker. Of course, you got the brake bias you can mess with as well. So there's a lot of things that you can adjust in these cars, and so that's going to be what we're going to be looking forward to see what the strategy is going to be and what maybe the right adjustment will be. I mentioned about 10, 11 cars putting laps down. We're up to 24 cars putting down a lap time so far in qualifying. And looking at the lap times, it is close. We've got a number of cars within thousandths of a second one another as we're just about to click all the way through qualifying. And we'll get to that starting grid here in just one moment. And I think I see someone peeking in here. So maybe we'll see if he's fully ready or not. But going to be joined here in just a second by Andrew. So Andrew, as always, pleasure having you, sir, as we're just about to click over to our starting grid.
Yeah, great to be with you, Gael. Looks like we're sitting here at Texas tonight, which is always a fun track. You got two different sides of the track that are definitely very different from one another, and I'm sure these guys have planned to be a little bit slower through turn 1 and 2 with that little flatter banking, and then they'll be all set to go through 3 and 4, probably flat out racing side by side, and that's probably where most of the passing is going to be done tonight, is setting it up in 1 and 2 and getting it done in 3 and 4.
Yep, I'm thinking exactly the same. So I mean, I'm looking at Homestead. I'm looking at Texas. Look at 1-2 in the qualifying. Matt Wagner, Edson Santos finished 1-2, starting 1-2 tonight. Tristan Forston started first at Homestead, third here tonight. Daniel Durazo there, Jason Collins, the top 5. But I'm just looking at those top 3, though, here, Andrew. 9 thousandths of a second between the 3 of them. And then you got Ryan Kelly there, 6th, Craig Forsyth and Jeff Heisong in row number 4. Nick Cohan and Nicholas Stockner there, 9th and 10th. Then you got Jim Herrick, Charles Teed, Will Stearns, John Borster, 13th, 14th. And let's keep moving down the running order because I haven't been keeping up there. Apologies. And then you've got, after those two, Sam Cosner, Eric Peterson, Chris Jabot, Derek Catt, Gary Laverne, Robert Smith, Hugo Galaz here, Larry Yingling, Charles Johnson, and Bill Burrell there in 24th. And again, great car count here once again as well, Andrew. You've got then Chris Stouffer, who jumped in, I think, really late, but he was able to make it, luckily. Joseph Morales, Bill Colley, and Brendan Briggs, those 4 drivers opting not to put down a qualifying time tonight, so they're going to have a lot of work to try to move their way forward, but strategy is always a potential in these, though, so you never know how they're going to pan out. So it's going to be fun, though. 135 laps tonight, Andrew. Hearing about 40 laps on fuel, but that brings you to lap 120, so who do we think? Do we think someone's going to try to pull some numbers and maybe try to pull a stop out of this one tonight?
Well, I think just based on how the first race was run, there was a lot of new faces and new drivers, and everyone kind of was trying to figure everybody out. So I think that we're still going to have a little bit of a hangover of that, and I believe that some guys are going to try and do the fuel save and hope for the best there, but I still think that there's a lot of guys that probably didn't qualify so well, so they want to try and make sure they get themselves right up to the front as soon as they possibly can. So it'll be a lot of give and take early on. So I expect in the first 5 to 10 laps or so, you're going to see a lot of guys moving around quite a bit here. But if it were me, I would definitely know that there's a lot of drivers here tonight. Good chance of some early cautions, just trying to figure everything out. So I think it's best to just kind of hang out and stay out of trouble and see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun to see strategies. Of course, do need to mention, if they do want to cut that one pit stop out, Andrew, they're going to need to try to get to lap 45 will be the magic marker for that one. So if they can go that far, that could be a 2-stop race. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty much a guaranteed 3. But yeah, like you said, though, this is a very quick, very difficult track. Turn 1, especially the way this thing is, the way that you have to slow down for it. Kind of the reverse Kentucky, if you will, where the slow turn there is 3 and 4. Here it's at 1 and 2, and yeah, and I was watching, and we talked about it last time we were here. I feel like both times, turn 2, it looks like it's been catching a lot of guys in practice, so that's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on as well. As the green flag is away, and again, this is a new update on this one, is the leaders have control of the pace car. They can roll back a little bit and then get going early, keep the field spread out, try to prevent that accordion wreck that we saw at Homestead towards the end of the season, at the end of the race.
There is a wreck on the front straightaway in the quad
there is
oval.
already.
Looks
You're
like
right, the 15, Derek Catt. Oh, just a little kiss to the wall. Think he'll be all right, but yeah, unfortunately,
Hugo Galaz unfortunately has flipped over the pit wall.
He's rolling again though for Hugo, so that's good news. I'm surprised that the 15 had to tow, but yeah, let's go back. We'll take a look. So all things, and you think everything's going to try to make it the best you can. And so you can see right there, yeah, just, I'm not sure. So you can see Hugo's as low as he can go, and Derek just kind of comes down, and Unfortunate contact between the two of them there. Oh yeah, look at that. Hugo then ramps off the rear wheel there of that car, and man, that's not the way you want to start a race. But impressively able to get back on his wheels here, and I think able to already trying to either catch the field or get that faster pair, as that's probably an interesting view from the pace car. And yeah, you're right, bounces up and over the pit wall. And
if you look at, actually, if you want to break this down a little bit, it looks like the leader actually held way back from the pace car, and the pace car was basically in the pit lane already when the drivers were trying to get going through turn 3 there. And I think everybody kind of just checked up on, especially on the outside lane, right around Nicholas Stockner area. Everybody in the outside lane just didn't go, so everybody on the bottom lane started to move, and I think there was just a lot of confusion right around that area, and that just caused the accordion going through the quad over there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an unfortunate, obviously, way to start the race. And like I said, this is a change from last week, because we saw kind of the opposite as well there, Andrew, where they decide, okay, what we're going to try to do is basically what happened was that second to last restart. Again, this is us as me speculating, but it kind of looked like Matt was worried about Edson rolling back a little bit on the restart, and so he went really late, and then we had that accordion restart. And so I think the adjustment for tonight is that the leaders will kind of lag back off the pace car to give them more room to kind of jump to avoid, or hopefully avoid, that accordion effect on the restarts. So maybe the initial start, maybe it's a little bit different for that than the restart. That might have just caught a lot of guys off guard. So with this restart going to be single file, we'll see if that makes any changes on that one. So yeah, obviously not ideal to start off that way, but again, still plenty of time to go. And Hugo was able to get his service done and back on track, and I think also able to stay on the lead lap waiting for the time. Yeah, he is good to go. So right now it's the 15 car that, again, towed, but I'm not sure if he really needed to. And actually, Hugo just had something else happen, or I think he's just pulling over to make some settings changes or something going on, but car looks okay. So
it looks like, yeah, it looks like everybody from John Borst in P19 on back did the early stop there, just kind of a top off on fuel and make sure they were good to go later on. So a lot of cars in the back doing the usual, as we would expect, just saying, okay, well, I'm already back here as it is. Let's just restart with a full tank of fuel and go from there.
I like the idea, yeah. And saying you got Larry Yingling, he's going to top off as well along with Joseph Morales. So I like the gamble here because really they're not losing a lot of spots. John's maybe the one who lost the most. He's down 6 spots from his starting position. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys, they're kind of just going to take a gamble and say, all right, this hopefully will work. Say Hugo's still down on the apron though. Oh, he might be having to wait for the pace car here, I think is what's happening. So I think that might be what's holding 57, which unfortunately means that's going to knock him a lap down here. But again, would be the only car one down. But what we see already, though, is the same thing as the initial start. Matt's laying off the pace car, letting the pace car kind of run off. And that's how it is in any car. Once with one to go, pace car kind of just sets sail, takes off, and then the leader has control of this race. So kind of mimicking that here in a way. And so Matt's going to have control here. And so basically he can take off here pretty much through 3 and 4, or I think middle 3 maybe, and then through the exit of 4. Again, just the goal of this is to try to spread it out. And we'll see. I'd say this might be one of those things where it's attempted, it maybe doesn't work, and say, okay, well, let's go back to the drawing board or go back to what we had because it wasn't as bad. So we'll see here as I believe we're coming back to green.
Yeah, they extended it 1 lap there. I think because Hugo was trying to get himself back sorted again. It looks like he got a 1 lap penalty of some sort. It may have been a pit penalty of sort. But
okay, yeah, you're right. I see the pace car stayed out. So yeah, good call there. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, I was catching what was happening there. It looked like a little bit of the behavior of the guys that were confused that Hugo was sitting there on the outside or the inside of the track there. So I think it was just the simple fact that we're just going to get everything stacked up properly here. But the good thing for Hugo is that even though he did fall a lap down, he will be the first car to get the lucky dog once or if the next caution comes out. I shouldn't just call it out as such, but the next time that there's a caution, Hugo will be right back in it again. So that's why you see him just comfortably down there saying, you know what, go ahead. I'm just going to accept the penalty, a little bit of an incident on the start there, and we'll just get rolling again. So
yep.
we'll get these cars back up to speed again very soon here. It looks like the pace car is actually entering turn 3 very soon, and Matt is very far
out of
behind
2.
right
Yep.
now.
So same thing here. I say, and I mean, obviously the second place is different, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing as the end of Homestead, where Matt was the leader on both of these restarts as well. So, and again, though, what I like is Larry Yingling, Joseph Morales, Bill Colley, they all topped off here as well. So, and it's really hasn't cost them any spots, so it's almost they're playing with house money, if you will, at this point. So, pace car has gotten onto pit road, so this is where now Matt has control. And of course, like I said, he'll be able to jump off whenever he is ready. You can see the 12 Treston Forson, last week's pole sitter, right on the rear wing here. So again, Matt's got control, and it looks like, yep, now they're off and running here. So again, this is now hopefully will be a little bit of a better restart. I'll say everybody's, again, you can see here as they start to file through. Again, field to spread out a little bit more is kind of the goal of it. Trying to avoid that, because when you go green, everybody's just going to stomp on it. You know what I mean, Andrew? So they just kind of hopefully has to react. You have to react to the car in front of you instead of just saying like green means go, and if someone's just maybe half a second slower than you, then that's a lot of times where it happens.
Well, I think that this actually, Kyle, I have to say this is the cleanest restart I think I've seen in Area 51 history. Everybody was very much on the high side, and the pace car had nothing to do with it really, so no one could really anticipate it. So everyone just got going as soon as the car in front of them started going. So we got a nice single file action going on right now. Not a lot of big passes happening, except at the front where we see Treston is going for Matt up at the front here. And just like I was mentioning on the pre-race there, it seems like you set it up through the exit of turn 2. If you get the better exit, you'll get the run through 3 and 4. And as you see, Treston has now taken the lead. And it looks like he's actually brought Edson with him. And Matt's actually under fire from quite a few cars right now.
Yeah, looks like Durazo's going to grab that third spot as well. And yeah, these guys are all packed up on each other. Jason Collins going to join the mix there as well, trying to get around the 6. Can't quite do it. You got Ryan Kelly there, Jeff Heisong, Craig Forsyth, all right here packed together. And I think that's the key word right now is packed together. These guys are all on top of each other, super tight. And that's going to be another thing too, is that's a lot of dirty air. That gives you so little room to figure out to just try to get some clearing out of the front wing of that car. And so you can see right now the pack's all the way down to about 18th. There's a little separation there until the 86 of John Borson. Again, he was one of those guys though that topped off on that caution. So I think he's just trying to build some track position back after that as well. So like I said, that's going to be the fun thing to see is the strategies, the comers and goers, because of course right now with him where he is, he's got to burn more fuel to catch the pack, then go back down a fuel map if that's his plan. So it's one of those all best laid plans type situation. But we do have all cars back on track though. Hugo has actually just hit pit road here, but I can tell you the 15 is back out on track. And man, up front, I think I'm really happy right now if I'm Treston, because I'm looking behind him and it looks terrifying.
Yeah, so let's just talk one more quick time. We did mention the pit strategy a little bit earlier in the race, but now that something has gone into effect where we had a little bit of caution here, does it seem a little bit more feasible that drivers can save fuel? It was I think 48, I believe you said, right?
45, I think would be the magic number, yeah. So we'll go on to just kiss the wall there in that red car. Is that? It's not Jim Herrick. Will Stearns, possibly? No. Oh, yeah, I think it was Will Stearns, the 908 car, sorry. Just a little bit of contact with the outside wall. Looks like he's okay, but, I mean, this might as well be NASCAR right now to plate track as they were. Oh, man, they're almost 4 wide there.
So the reason why I'm asking, Kyle, is because, as you see, we were very much single file in that restart, but as you can see, everybody's on top of each other again right now. So this is the perfect opportunity for fuel save, especially if you were one of those guys that was stopping towards at the back of the field. So if you have about 18 cars ahead of you that are spread out and you know you're not going to go anywhere, what better time than to save some fuel? So if you're able to make 45 laps work, especially if you're someone like the Joseph Morales or Larry Yingling or some of these guys that did that.
I think he may have got a little bit of a hip check. He's got left front wing is gone on that car. We'll go back. Also need to mention Robert Smith. He had the incident. He had to tow or get onto pit road, so we'll check on his as well, and we'll have to check on Matt. So let me jump back real quick. We'll watch what happened to Robert Smith here as he is, he's down. I think that's probably loose out of 2. Didn't quite catch it. But then I want to see for Matt Wagner's as well, because he definitely had, I believe, some contact.
It looked like it was Nicholas Stockner. Kind of had a bobble almost. It seemed like he was trying to stay a little bit on the low side, but might have misjudged where the grass was and kind of had a bobble. And you can't do that in the tri-oval because, unfortunately, if you're trying to trust the person that's running on the outside or the inside of you to be on the straight line there, and if you bobble a little bit, that's just going to throw off the entire run. So, unfortunately, Matt got a little bit of a situation there. But Nicholas keeps going, and Matt's falling back a little bit.
Yeah, and so Matt right now, he's just going to try to limp this thing along and hope for a caution to be able to pit. So you can see, yeah, I mean, that car, once he gets in clean air, it'll be a little better. But yeah, right now that car, he's going to be in it for a tough time right now. So, so you remember one of those drivers we talked about that did not get a
car on the wall in turn one?
Yeah, one down the apron as
well. It's Stockner again.
Yeah.
I believe, I think.
Yep, caution.
I think that was more of the checkup situation. I think Craig might have gotten into him there, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, that was Jim Herrick actually, another 4D car. Yeah, that was 100% the checkup there. So that was nothing of Stockner's doing. I think that was just all the cars are finally starting to come together now, and you got to be a little bit more cautious when you're following about 12 to 14 cars behind you. And unfortunately, Stockner got the worst of that.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to mention just before the contact is, we talked about a driver that wasn't able to get a qualifying lap and jumped in super late. He's now 5th, and that is the 13 of Christopher. That's less than 20 laps. I mean, think about the restart as well. So, I mean, that's probably maybe, 10 laps or something like that of green flag racing, and he's up 20 positions. So that's
incredible
in itself. So let's go back now. Let's try to see if we can see what happened here with Nicholas Stockner. So we're going to focus on him here. There he is in that 124 car. That's the orange and purple. And yeah, like you mentioned, we're expecting kind of see a fairly big checkup here. Oh, you see one there in the grass. That's probably caught a few drivers' attention, I'm sure.
Yeah, I missed that one as well.
And then, I think he had to check up a little bit. It looked like, actually a lot of net code too there. You could see where they had gap and it just bounced as if he hit. But it looked like there was maybe a little bit of a reaction as well off possibly the 908. I saw the red car had a pretty decent gap. But again, like you said, I mean, that was just an outright pack race. And so we've got some mixed strategies now, though, because the top 6 opted not to pit. Treston Forson, Daniel DeRozzo, Stouffer, Jason Collins, Sam Cosner, and Chris Jabot. Those 6 did not pit. Then Edson Santos on back. These guys all did go ahead and come in, take, looks like 4 tires for these guys. And then I believe Hugo, is it going to be Hugo? Actually, no, I think it was the 98 Robert Smith.
Yeah, Robert Smith got the way. I was going to mention that. I was trying to make sure that Hugo was the guy that got it, but it looked like Robert Smith just came out of the pits after a long pit stop. It looked like he might have taken on some damage, so he is the wave around. So now he is 3 laps down. Hugo's 4, and Derek
3, 4, and 6, and then looks like Matt's trying to save that fast pair, Andrew. So this is where he's got the front wing replaced, but there's still probably some sort of a side pod damage. Or I know you're really good at you always look for the kind of that skirt area on the side of the car to try to see how things are looking. So it looks like I do see a little bit of a bend, and it still isn't fully straight. So that car, I'm assuming, and you can speak to this, Andrew, when you see that little bit of damage on the right side, I mean, does that tell you anything? Is that like, okay, car's going to be tighter, or what do you, behind the wheel, what do you see?
I'm sorry, say again, where do you see the damage? Is on the right side there?
On the right side, just below the side pod, basically, I think is the best way I can describe it. I don't know the technical terms on these guys.
No worries. It looks like actually he's coming back in again. I'm trying to see if maybe he feels something and now is saying, you know what, let's just use the fast repair.
Yeah, because you can see the bends right below the horizon in-car. Yeah, you can still see there's definitely some damage lingering there on the side pod. So I wonder.
I'm gonna check the cars at pits here. I want to see if it fixes
we'll see if it gets a magic repair.
It's the floor.
I just saw.
There it is, right there.
I saw it pop out. So yeah, so fast repair taken. That's tough for Matt now because that's it. I mean, he's got to go 115 laps now without getting caught up in anything. So it's a risk that he feels like he's got to take. I mean, it's a tough one to make that call. So. And you see again, Treston Forson now, he's going to be the leader on this one. He's going to roll back off that pace car. You see where he is, you see where the pace car is. And so again, basically once that pace car is down and away, he'll start rolling. And again, he's got control here. So we'll actually jump off the back of that number 12 I'll watch him as he gets up through the gears here to start lap number 21.
Looks like we're going to have some split strategy like you were mentioning before, but it looks like the guys that stopped early may have a different strategy going, and now we're not really looking at a fuel strategy, right, Kyle? If everybody could do about 40 laps or so, then I think everybody's good to go to the end for the most part, unless you're the people that did not pick that. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm curious to see if that happens.
I think now we're pretty much 2 stop to the end without too much drama. The top 6 are question marks, but yeah, like you said, I mean, if they were saving, or this might be one of those, like, you know what, this race is going to be a tough one tonight. I just want track position. I don't want to be in the kind of the hornet's nest, if you will. Saying that I switched, you can see a bunch of these guys all packed on each other, and we're going to go back up front because it's not just in the back, it's up front here too. As Stouffer continues his charge here, he's trying to get up to second spot now around Daniel Durazo. He had the nose ahead out of 2. He's going to try to steal a little draft here through 3 and 4. You see him peek back out here. Is this what you're talking about, Andrew? Try to set up out of 3, get that runoff 4. I mean, look at him go right now. It looks like he's going to try to get the top spot here in 1 and 2.
It looks like eventually that top line is going to be a little bit more advantageous. I think we need to lay a little bit more rubber down before we get to that point. So I think I almost feel like Stouffer is the main kind of person that we would peg to be in this situation, to put himself in that spot where he's saying, okay, I may not get the spot now, but let me lay down the rubber now so I can play it out for later and see how much of an advantage I can gain. I wouldn't be surprised if Stouffer just plants himself on the outside of Treston for the rest of the stint here and just make sure that that lane is workable later on. Treston is really doing a great job right now painting that white line, but eventually that's going to really get very, very difficult, especially when the right front tire starts to wear, and you really have to put yourself down there when you know someone's on your outside. So I think this is just chess right now, Kyle. I don't think this is anything having to do with making a pass. I think this is just saying, like, okay, well, this is what's going to be the situation later, and I want to make it available to everyone.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I feel like of the drivers that we know that love to run that second, third lanes, I mean, I feel like Stouffer is definitely one of those that when you see someone in traffic, you know somebody's going to be working the top, and he's always one that I keep my eye on for in that 13 car. So, again, he's up 23 spots from his starting spot. But right behind him, that purple and yellow car there, the VRL sponsorship on the side, Sam Cosner, 12 spots there as well for him. So you see right now he tucks underneath there behind Treston. And again, right now, a little bit of grass there, and that's the thing too. You're going in blind, so you really can't see what's happening right up in front of you. And so he had a really moment there as well, because I mean that's going to catch your attention for sure, Andrew. But and now they're looking maybe 3 wide. Durazo's peeking. It looks like he's going to stay put. And Edson right now, he's the first of those that did pit. He's made his way all the way back up to third already.
I think that once you see someone touch the grass on the front straightaway in that group, you really have to look all around you, because that throws the entire momentum off. Because these drivers aren't looking at any points on the track anymore. They're listening to their engine revs. They're trying to keep the same amount of acceleration into the car. And that's what they're using to stay in the draft. And once something gets upset, then it gets everyone like, oh no, like I'm lost. I'm kind of on the wrong side of the track. I'm on the wrong side of the entry of the corner. And next thing you know, you find yourself a little bit stuck on the outside, and someone may be trying to make a move on you. But that's going to be a perfect opportunity for some of those guys that are in the back to pounce, because they're like, okay, I know that guy's a little bit messed up right now. So I think that's exactly what happened there. I think I believe it was Will Stearns who lost a couple spots there just by being a little bit stuck on the outside there. So he went from about P6 or so, and now he's sitting in P10.
Yeah, I'll say that said, though, I mean, I'm looking at the guys that maybe just got by him, and I mean, you've got Craig Forsyth, Jason Collins. I mean, you've got some big names that got there. Chris Jabot's right there in the mix there as well in that number 87. He's up 12 spots into the top 5 is what I was trying to say. So a really good opening run for him as well. Again, he's one of those that's off strategy. And so right now, the 6 that did not pit, you've got 6 of them in the top 7. Again, Edson right now, the only driver able to crack that pack at the moment. So yeah, right now it's going to be interesting to see again at what point are some of these guys maybe going to be looking at field numbers, or did that first caution, now the second caution did say, all right, this puts us at a number where we're safe to the end on a 2-stopper. Maybe with some fuel saving, you never know. But yeah, so it's gonna be fun to see what the strategy is. But right now, I mean, we've got 1st to 14th all here within, I mean, I'm going to say probably, what does it looks like, about not even 2 seconds. And then you see a little further back, just a little separation to Eric Peterson, Charles Johnson, Larry Yingling's right there in that mix. Nick Cohan and Nicholas Stockner, they're right back together here as well. We saw them earlier together. And then John Borst, the same thing. He's just kind of, I think, cruise control because he's in a good spot because he doesn't have really any pressure behind him. He's got Hugo there behind him, then another second or so back to Bill Burrell there, and then Bill Cawley. So it's really, really spread out. And then something, I'm not sure if something's happened or what, but you've got Matt Wagner, Joseph Miles, and Brandon Briggs. They're a fair bit back, about half a lap off the field right now. So not sure if that's just Matt just playing it extra safe, knowing that stuff could be happening up front, because I mean, you see what we see, Andrew. There's a lot that could happen here, because as these tires get more worn, it's going to start to slide a little bit more, and like I mentioned, I feel like turn 2 is going to be the dangerous place, but they don't have the winds going against them right now, which is good. It's only about 2 miles an hour at the moment.
I'm trying to watch up and down this top 10 here, Gael, and I don't see anybody that's really in a rush to get anywhere. So it seems that some of these guys are trying to do a little bit of a fuel save. They're playing a little bit of a cat and mouse. I'm going to go high, you're going to go low situation. It looks like Will Stearns is the only one that's really trying to make his way forward right now. He lost those spots. He wants those spots back. So I think there's a lot of give and take going on right now, which is exactly what we want to see in this situation. We want to see a lot of guys kind of maybe grabbing a couple spots and then saying, okay, I'm going to kind of lift for a couple laps and see if I can get some advantage, and then kind of grab some more spots and then maybe fall back a little bit. And that's kind of what this is all about and what we're used to seeing. So I'm not really seeing any moves right now, and I think people believe that Treston is just hugging that bottom line right now and sitting in that lead. They know they can't get by him, so why bother pushing all your tire life and everything like that to do anything? Let's just kind of save some fuel here, pick up a few spots, and make sure you're in the best spot for when the pit stops happen.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We're gonna hop on here with Sam Cosner because he's been working both lanes, and this is the other thing is as the run continues on here, you can see just on the aero screen the tires, the tire and everything, the rubber that's kind of thrown on there. I was about to mention I was watching him, the way he was running turn 1 and 2 was he was running the third lane and then kind of arcing it down, but then he tried to get around Stouffer, got all that dirty air we just talked about off of Treston, and he had to really pedal it, and you saw that's what allowed Stouffer to go right back by him. So yeah, right now so I think he is trying to make some moves. You saw there for a second Durazo's just to his inside, now Durazo back by. So yeah, so I think they're still trying to see what they can get away with here.
Well, let's just keep in mind also, if you're Treston right now and you're just racing in the lead, you're he just loses the lead right now, I believe.
And I think I just saw Stern catch Walford too. But yeah, no, you're right though. Stouffer to the top now, or to the front.
But I was just going to explain exactly what's going through Treston's head right now, but he just completely stole that thunder away from me. So I was going to say that if you're just sitting there in the lead paying the white line, that's all well and good and good for you for being in the lead. But when it comes to a point where you're sitting where every other driver is in this field right now, you don't know exactly what your car is going to react when you're trying to figure out the traffic situation. So yeah, it's nice to lead, and it's nice to be out front and say, oh, hey, I'm just going to be here for the next 100 or so laps. But once you fall back in the pack, you're like, oh no, what lane do I run? How much do I lift? How much do I move? So I think it's almost better for someone like Treston to fall back in the pack and do what these guys are doing back here, which, like you mentioned before, is running high, running low, trying to see where your car works best so that when it comes to the end of the race, you have the best advantage to take a perhaps winning move.
Yeah, right now I saw Will Stearns. Let's say he's been having a really tough time out of turn 2. I've seen him catch the wall a couple times. I think now at this point that car is probably a little bit damaged. It just does not seem to want to rotate. I saw Craig catch earlier too. He's dropped a fair bit back as well. So there's about a second gap now between Jason Collins to.
Oh, this contact turn 3. There's a lot of cars collecting this one.
Involved in this one. Yeah. Oh man, it's a. You got Craig. Literally the ones we were just talking about. There, you got Peterson there.
I think Stearns was unfortunately the main point there.
Yeah, it looked like something. Just he was struggling with something there. Unfortunately, like I said, I think maybe some lingering damage possibly from that from the earlier contact. So we'll switch back over to him. Let me pause it here real quick, and we'll switch over to his car. Having a hard time finding his car number for some reason. There he is. So I'll watch here, and yeah, you can see just.
I'm
not sure if he got loose or not.
8 cars collected here.
Oh man, yeah, you see the one go up and over. Craig thinks he's got it clear, and then unfortunately you see Peterson there gets him along with Stockner, and that catches a couple of them. And oh man, I'm gonna pause it one more time because look at Jeff Heisong here. He somehow gets on the brakes here to get by it, as well as looks like Nick Cohan, Larry Yingling, John Borst may have got a little piece of it. I caught that at the corner of my eye here. And actually, yeah, you can see here they're checking up, and okay, so yeah, he gets a little bit to Charles Johnson, which unfortunately gets Charles up into it as well. But yeah,
Jeff was definitely a great view. But watch Hugo Galaz. That's going to be the best view in my opinion. If you want to go on board with him.
Let's go back a little bit here. We'll do a quick little rewind, and what we'll do is here. Let's hop on that roll bar. We'll see what he's seeing here. And again, we were watching that super slow-mo, and yeah, he's just got to pretty much come to a stop there. He's able to sneak around Craig, and then, yeah, you can see a lot of damaged cars there, unfortunately. So a few of them might still have some lingering damage. We'll have to wait and see. Trying to double-check on the wave around. You'll probably be quicker on that one than I am.
I think that might be...
Looks like Derek's going to stay out, so it was not him. So, yeah, may have gone to Hugo. He's on pit road now. Yeah, actually, I think it would have either been Hugo, I believe, or...
Let's check it out. I'm watching Hugo right now.
Maybe the other? No, Robert Smith's retired, so I think it was Hugo. Which
yeah, it was Hugo. He went by the pace car there.
Okay. And this is also big, as we got a lot of drivers that had to take tows here as well, Andrew. So you can see them all right there. You got Craig Forsyth, Charles Johnson, Nicholas Stockton we just mentioned, Gary Laverne in there as well. So a couple guys there, especially, I mean, Craig's obviously one of the big hitters, and I think unfortunately just that incident that put him, where I mentioned I think I saw him catch the wall off of 2. I think it kind of got him back into the kind of that hornet's nest, if you will. So that's a tough one for him. Again, long season though, so a lot of time to recover. And now we got to reset here because we're going to restart this thing with 90 to go. And guess what that magic number was, Andrew? 45.
Don't quiz me, Jack. I forgot.
45.
I already forgot what the number was.
You're good. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I was like 48.
Yeah,
42,
so no 45 laps.
No.
And that's what I was mentioning before, is if they could go 45, they could try to do a 2-stopper. So now if they can try to go 45, they can make it on 1 stop. So do we see the pace drop again or not? So you can see again, Stouffer, he's doing the same thing as we saw the other leaders do. He's going to roll back here. You see the pace cars building that gap on him, and then he'll have control of this restart. So what we do have is still 21 drivers on the lead lap. Matt Wagner right now, the last of those on there. And I think Stockner's not back out on track yet. So unfortunately.
Well, I was going to say that if that's the case, Gael, then all those cars that stayed out there have kind of gotten the big advantage then. We were wondering if they were going to have to do a pit stop and go a lap down or so, but staying out was the right strategy there.
Yep, there goes Stouffer right out of 4. Looking out the back, you can see it's a little bit of a checkup. Looks like everybody's able to get rolling nice and clean once more here. And so, yes, I mean, we're going to have the kind of the battles within the battles now, because now the big fight's going to be try to be that first car 1 down, or actually in this case, the first car 2 down, which that's going to be huge, because if you can do that, you've almost got a green light to get the next one as well. So that's going to be Gary Laverne, Charles Johnson, and Craig Forsyth all fighting for that spot. So we'll just see on that one. Back up front, though, it's switched around now. You got Stouffer on the inside, Forsyth on the outside, trying to get that top spot here as they head into 1 here.
I'm looking at, I think there was a little bit of confusion with the 4D guys. Jim Herrick, Charles T., Jeff Heisong, Eric Peterson, they were all just trying to figure out who was going to be the lead car going into turn 3, and they all just kind of lifted. And unfortunately, they lost the pack a little bit, but I'm sure they'll get it back. But yeah, some of these guys that usually work together on this racetrack just kind of had like a little bit of a bobble there, and that can always happen when you're working with some guys that you know. These guys are all guys that you expect to be towards the front, and they just had a moment there. But everyone got out of it clean, and let's go back towards the front again, because it seems that Stouffer's got it all figured out right now on that wide line. He's kind of giving Treston a piece of his own medicine. And let's see if Horton can really try and find his way along the outside there, or if someone can kind of sneak underneath them. Ryan Kelly's sitting there nicely in third right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think the two I've been watching is Ryan Kelly's been kind of just cruising. I would say I feel like he hasn't been pushing the issue too much. He's just been in a good spot there. As you see, Tristan's going to try to get that run out of turn 4 and try to jump around, and Ryan says,
"Oh, you're not going to get Stouffer there. There's no way you're going to try and draft off of Chris Stouffer and get that outside run down into turn 1. I think you really have to find a way to really pinch him down on the white line to get him to move. Stouffer is a veteran in these cars for many, many years, and some of these folks that think that they have the speed to take it to some of these guys that have been racing for a long time, they really have to learn, and that they will learn, especially once you get raced a certain way. You say, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. So this is a perfect opportunity for some of these guys to follow a veteran like Stouffer.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And like you mentioned some of the guys. I mean, Ryan Kelly, again, new to the series. Chris Jabot as well, 3rd and 4th now at the moment. So great stuff by them. You mentioned you're talking about Herrick and Teed and Heisong and company. Almost one of those where you're too familiar with each other, where it almost is a detriment. Where it's when I was like after you,
Absolutely.
oh no, after you, and you're kind of getting in your own way by trying to be courteous.
Yeah, I think you explained that much better than I did. Like, that's exactly what I saw there. I watched them all go into turn 3, and everyone just kind of lifted at the same time, not realizing that everybody ahead of them is just completely pulled away. So, I think a little bit more coordination is definitely something that's saying, okay, I think I feel a little stronger here on the restart than you. Let me try and get a little bit ahead and try and make some moves. That'll happen with any team, really.
And yeah, so the Lucky Dog battle still is going to be Gary holding on to that top spot. You can see him in the 34 car. He's got John Borst right behind him. Charles Johnson's about a second back from him, and then Craig as well. So a little surprised, honestly, on Craig that he's as far back as he is still. I don't know, maybe he is kind of going for a strategy call here, maybe just trying to go full fuel save and just maybe try to make it to the end on that one stop, or just go long and bank on a yellow during the pit stop cycle. But yeah, that's going to be my big one that I'm going to be watching, is to see who's going to maybe try to pull out some fuel mileage out of these guys. The only one in this main pack that topped off is Bill Burrell here in that 21 car. So he is one that has just a teeny bit more fuel. So he's going to be one I definitely keep an eye on. As you see there, just had that big arrow wash there. You saw the 86 react to it a little bit. So a little moment there for him as you see a little further forward. Will Stearns, he's got the fast spare. He's back in it as well in that 908. But up front, though, still same battle here. Like I said, just positions reversed. And now you've got Chris Jabot. Now he's on the inside line where we saw Ryan Kelly. So everybody's trying to find where their best position is going to be in this one. And right now, it seems like the inside line's the place to be for the moment, Andrew. But it did seem like you mentioned after maybe 20-ish laps, maybe a little more than that, I did feel like the high side had the momentum as the run continued on.
It definitely seems like you have to have a certain amount of momentum to run that outside line. And I have to say, Gael, it's nice to call out some new names up here. Guys that may have been racing in the back or the middle part of the field in previous races, if they've done a couple of races with Area 51 before, just kind of showing their face up here and saying, hey, like, I'm racing with guys that know what they're doing up here. And you could definitely learn a lot. Even if you wind up coming out of here with a 5th place finish, you could say, okay, well, I raced with some of these guys up front. I need a little bit of discipline, and this is exactly what I needed. So guys like Chris Jabot and Brian Kelly, Sam Cosner. Sam Cosner's been up front in some of these races here, but it's definitely great to see the competition increasing in this series, and that's something that we've always wanted to see. And it just makes the variety so much better.
No, exactly right. And I mean, again, I'm looking at, you mentioned guys that new names, new faces, and then I'm also looking, I'm looking at Bill Colley as well. I mean, he's up 14 spots right now into that 13th position. And I mean, Bill's one of those guys that I feel like maybe isn't the full outright pace guy, but at the same time, I feel like he's one of those ones that tries to make sure he's there at the end of the races. And I've seen him capitalize on, at a different league, getting a win at a race where just he was the one that was being consistent and more cautious than the other ones, and was able to take advantage of it and grab the win. So I remember that one was a very, very popular one. I believe it was over at Gateway, if I'm not mistaken. And so I mean, that's the thing, is not everybody's going to be a Chris Stouffer or a Nick DeGroot. And that's what makes this so interesting in this series is sometimes you get out strategy them because, I mean, that's where I feel like I am when that's my best chance. So it'll be fun to see. Like I said, I think somebody's going to be trying to pull this number off. Like, I know for certain Stouffer and Forston, they're not going to have the fuel number.
Let's look at Joseph. I mean, you want to throw Joseph Morales in that mix, too.
Yes,
a long-time Area 51 veteran of this series. We don't talk about him so much, but sometimes he manages to squeak out these sneaky finishes that no one really expects. And you're saying, oh, wow, there's Joseph Morales in the top 10. And he may just be doing something a little different. He knows he doesn't have the fast outright pace of the top guys, so just sit behind somebody back here and save a little bit of fuel, and who knows, it may just pay off in the end.
Yeah, and I have noticed that I think he's been working, I say you saw him there on track together, I think he's been working with Matt Wagner this season, and I say kind of one of those where, again, this whole league, it's one of those like, hey, maybe if you want to try to help me with this, or, because that's the thing too, is there's a lot of dials and knobs and things you can twist and turn to adjust, and not everybody's got those down. I mean, that's for me. I have to print out a little sheet when I try to run that iRacing 8500 because I'll remind us like, wait, what does the front ARB do compared to the rear ARB and so on and so forth. So,
it takes a lot for sure for that.
And here we go. I think the momentum. Oh, I see smoke. It's a 15. Yep, caution is out. Derek tried to tow before, but caution's going to come out here at lap 64. And so
I was just seeing it past the lead there, so I don't know who's going to be the leader on that one.
Yeah, say Chris is trying to make sure it's him. It looks like he's going to hustle back around, so looks like he's going to hang on the top spot. So that will throw away the fuel mileage side of things on this one, though. Now at this point, it is a one-stop race to the end. But let's go back, see if we can catch what happened to Derek here. And I have a feeling it's going to be that turn 2 we talked about. I've seen a lot of guys get loose, and you can already, up there it goes, it's starting to step out on them. You can see the wheel full lock to the right, but again, with these cars, once it steps, there's not a lot you can do. And unfortunately, a big hit to the inside wall there. And what you'll see here is, I mean, yeah, that's going to throw yellow because so he's able to get it down to the apron. And then you'll see he tries to tow as quick as he can. And it's just, yeah, iRacing saw these guys were there. And so, I mean, it's a good yellow to have for it. I'm sure some of the fuel guys are kicking themselves saying, we had this. So that's the only downside. But I am peeking over at the chat and talk about some guys that are heavy hitters in the chat. That's Kyle Klendworth. So he's bummed about Craig, but he still thinks Stouffer's going to have some company before this one's over. And that's now the next question is the wave rounds. Gary Laverne, he's going to grab that spot. But I'm going to add this to the list here, though, Andrew. Look who's staying out and is going to get in front of the leaders during this pit cycle. That's going to be Charles Johnson and Craig Forsyth. So they're both going to wind up being back to just one down, just on a different fuel strategy than the 34.
Well, I had the actual opposite take on you there, Gail. So the guys that were saving the fuel, they're not going to pit now. They're going to stay out and save even more fuel.
So I think everybody pitted, unfortunately. They didn't like your strategy.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, if you've already saved the fuel, then just take all the spots that you can.
Actually, I lied. There's two takers, Bill Burrell and Brennan Briggs. They both are staying. We'll see. I could see Brennan maybe jumping back in. I'm not sure, but Bill was one that topped off, so you might be right, actually, for Bill. I think this is a great opportunity for him as well because he topped off. He was definitely full in on that fuel save mode. So he's probably, like you said, he's probably got some to play with. The only difference is he'll probably have to pit roughly, let's say, 20 laps earlier than the remaining in the field. And so that puts you in that very, very nervous window where it's like, okay, please be good here through the pit stop cycle. And, well, here you go. Nope, he's going to come on in. Is Brandon? Nope, Brandon's going to stay out. So he's going to cycle around as the leader. And so he's going to have a big trial by fire here because he's, same thing, pretty new to the series here. But at the same time, I say he's a great commentator. He's over with Boomer and I on the Super Speedway side of things. So I think he's gonna have some eyes wide open here in a moment.
Yeah, I would imagine if you were saving the fuel already, then just save more fuel and just be up front without any traffic situation going on. But unfortunately, it didn't seem like it was working out for them. So maybe our fuel calculations may not have been as strong as we had thought. So it's possible that may be the case as well. My second comment I wanted to make is I want to know if Kyle Klendworth said hello to me.
There was nice. No, he was fully focused on Craig and Stouffer. There was no mention of Mr. Andrew Wood.
Well, so then he's dead to me. So there's that.
He'll have to make it up to you at one of your top split races that I tried to catch you guys in.
I'll sit here and wait.
All right. So once again, you see Brandon. And again, this is what we're trying over here at the Area 51, letting the field roll off the pace car. Ooh, I think we may have just had something happen in the back, or are we just checking up to make sure no contact? I think we're okay. My sim race or my overlays popped up a bunch of crashed cars, but I think we're okay. So that's always another thing that makes us nervous. All right.
Well, so there's some of these guys that have been hanging out kind of in this top 10, like Jason Collins, Sam Cosner, Edson. They've been hanging out in this top 7, and they've always been on the right side of the strategy. So I'm curious to see how it plays out for some of these guys.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun to see. And then, like I said, I think at this point the strategy is going to be run it out as long as you can before you pit, if we don't get a caution before then. But yeah, so we're back to green again. Looks like a nice clean restart, and I think it was just like we talked about. I think Brandon said, "I'm not fighting this too hard. I just wanted to try to do something different." But again, though, if he can hang on to this top 3, top 5, there is forced in is
that was very close.
That was a little bit of contact, I think, there in the middle of 3 and 4 there.
I think everybody got out of that okay, from what I see.
Ooh, that was close though. But yeah, no, you're right though. I'll be curious to see what people changes. We just crossed the halfway point in this one. As Chris Gerbeau, he's still hanging on into that 3rd spot. And then Duraz is going to try to work on Briggs here for 4th. And then Ryan Kelly still sitting just outside the top 5 now in 6th. So, but you're right, though. These guys have been kind of hanging out in the top 5, top 10 this entire race pretty quietly. Edson was up front pretty quick early, but he's kind of dropped back a little bit. Maybe just backing down his stuff a little bit. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But right now, man, it's been these two, the 13 and 12, just throwing haymakers at each other, I feel like, pretty much from the get-go.
I still don't think that outside line has gotten very strong yet, but it may get stronger a little later into this race here. So we'll have to kind of see if that happens. But I don't think anybody really wants to make a move on the outside line yet. I think people are just kind of hanging back, saying like, all right, I'll hang back for now, but later on I know it's going to work, and I'm going to really go for it for that win.
Sorry, I saw. Yeah, Peterson I saw he got big loose. I tried to catch it in time, and yep, caution's going to come out there for Peterson again. Tries to take a tow. I saw him step out really bad out of turn 2, and as I was trying to catch it, unfortunately, I just switched cameras instead.
Jeff Heisong will be a great. I think that'll be a great view to watch him.
Oof, yeah, we'll definitely jump back, and you can see he catches. Jim Herrick maybe catches a little bit too here. And just unfortunately couldn't quite get it to cut back in time. And same thing, I mean, at this point, he's just long for the ride. You see the left front tires completely destroyed. Even the left rear suspension looks like it's broken too. And oof, that was close for a couple of those guys. So then we got to go back to the Lucky Dog battle. I think that may have been Charles Johnson potentially.
I think it was Johnson. Yep,
so
I was thinking the same thing.
And let's jump on board with Jeff as we just talked about. And there we go.
That view from his T-cam will be amazing.
Let's go hop on board the T-cam. And yeah, it's like, because you're going to see everything here. You're going to see the slide out to the top, and then you're going to see the back completely kick out there. And then you can see he was which way. And then he's like, okay, got to cut right there, and just able to sneak by there. But yeah, that's a tough one for Peterson. Did hear he won the dark horse race on Sunday night though over at Iowa, so big congrats to him on that one. That's a tough one to do, and well, you want to mix strategy though, Andrew. We got a little bit now of it, as it's like about 16. Actually, no, it's Craig. He's gonna get that spot back.
Lucky Dog, yes.
Oh, there you go. So
it looked like he may have been a nose ahead of Charles Johnson there. I believe
wow.
It seemed like I didn't see it myself, but I know there was a big battle going on in the back of the pack there.
Let's see if we can catch it at the time of yellow here. So we'll go back to when the yellow's thrown. You know what? Watch the 9 car here, because it was really close quarter. You can see there, John Borst, he sees it's going. He's going, okay, I'm going to go all the way to the right. I think what might be right here, does he get a Phantom 4X potentially to cancel him being ahead of the 99 car? That's the only thing I can think of to have cost him that, unfortunately. So not certain. The only thing that silver lining is now he's just got Gary Laverne to contend with. and they are pretty much on the same sequence here. So, but yeah, so now we're a little off strategy fuel-wise. It's not much, though. It's like about 5 laps, so I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. But it just gives them maybe that little bit of wiggle room to if people have to do a green flag pit stop, make them sweat those 5 or so laps.
You know, seeing Craig Forsyth back on the lead lap, watch out, is all I have to say. Yeah, we're not really in a fuel window right now where he can make it, 62 laps,
Yeah,
63 laps
on the
in this
restart,
race.
yeah.
So I don't think, we know that we always like to talk about Craig Forsyth and saving fuel and everything. I don't think he could do 60-something laps, but he's still in this race, and if he manages to save enough fuel where he wants to pull off, if he says, hey, there'll be 3 more cautions, and just wants to hang out in the back and then finally slither his way up front little by little as people start to peel off into the pits. I don't like Craig Forsyth being on the lead lap if I were any of these guys in this race right now.
Yeah, no, definitely is going to open up some opportunities here for sure. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see what.
Speaking from my own experience, by the way.
Yes, no, and that's the thing is there's those races where, I mean, I've even seen times where someone's like, you know what, I'm just going to stay out because I don't want that person to get a lap back. Obviously, with the lucky dog, you have no choice. But yeah, no, you're exactly right. So it's going to be interesting to see what Craig can do recovery wise. As again here, pace car's got a pretty good gap here, so that's going to hand it over to Stouffer. And we'll watch here out the rear wing of that 1340 Racewear machine. As you can see, everybody else spread out by just a little bit. And there he goes. And also use that banking to your advantage here, Andrew, right? Kind of cut down a little bit, get that little extra boost.
That was a great restart. I was just going to mention that, Kyle. Yes, exactly. I think some of these guys that are following him are a little bit jealous that he's able to get such a gap that they can't even really challenge him on the restart lap. You'll see that Stouffer is in the clear lead for the whole entire restart lap, and no one's able to do anything about it. And once everyone starts to pile up, then it gets very difficult to really make the move there. So Fortson's going to try, but I don't think he's going to have the advantage.
At the line, actually. Oh, it's close. But that was actually would have been an interesting thing to check there. We'll caution back out, and I think it's the 85. Looks like Nick Cohan. Car looks okay. May have just gone for a loop here, so he might get away with that. We'll go back and see what all happened.
I'm trying to see if it was a self-spin. I thought it was a self-spin.
Oh, well,
may have been
I'm already looking at how shallow he is here entering the tri-oval, and I'm going to say that's just... let's back
that
up
was
here
the
to
grass.
See if maybe he was kind of... Oh, yeah. So as saying this, always going back just a little bit is helpful. So you can see he's kind of peeking underneath Gary Laverne there, and he has to really get out of it. You can even see the car steps out and just trying to make sure he doesn't make contact with him. And so what that's going to do is that's going to throw him down into the grass. And yeah, and I mean, we saw that earlier. And so I think I'd say luckily we'll watch his way through here. But I think it's just going to be overall just a slide here. You can see he's going to try to crank it right, stay away from that pit wall, of course. And yeah, I think he's just going to throw a lot of grass onto the pit road there. You can see it already starting to form. And so, yeah,
I think that was no
harm, no foul.
Yeah, that was going to be one of those, like what I was mentioning at the beginning of the race, where you touch the grass for the cars behind you. It looks like he actually didn't really have a lot of issues behind him, so it was a self-spin there. Gary Laverne, I believe, gets the lucky duck here. I don't see him moving quite yet, but let's see if he gets going here.
Yeah, everybody's checking. I think they just picked up the pace car, so this will be where he should get the wave. And yep, there he goes. He's going to grab that. And again, a few more strategy calls here. It's going to change that window a little bit. Now Matt Wagner's going to be one of those to come in. And it looks like Nick Cohan, John Borst, Larry Yingling as well. They're all going to go ahead and get some service to theirs. So we'll take a quick break here, Andrew. We'll pull up our ad from our wonderful sponsor, 40 Racer, also sponsors some cars in the league as well. So big thank you to Jim. They've got some awesome products. So more coming as well. So looking forward to hear about that. So we'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, lights are off of the pace car. Matt Wagner's texting and driving over here, Andrew. He says he's going to be staying in the back in that 6 car, and I think that's the faster pair we talked about. And, man, we got to do some we have to do some texting and driving lessons here, because I also got Brandon Briggs texting and driving there. I say, where is he on track at a hunt?
One lap penalty for these guys, I think.
Yeah, there you go. I think, we got it.
I think some of the drivers would agree with that one.
Man, he's top 6 and he's texting and driving in that number 60, or sorry, the number 39 car. So these guys are wild. So yeah, Matt's saying he's on strategy mode. We're going to restart 56 to go. Again, that's definitely outside the fuel window. And again, it's just going to open it up now. So these guys from 1st to 14th are at 65. Craig Forsyth, Bill Burrell at 72. And Matt Wagner, John Borst, Cohan and company, Larry Yingling, Joseph Morales, all these guys, they are back to, it looks like, on 78, topping off on 1 to go. And now I'm more confused because Stouffer looks like he's going to restart from the inside line here. And so you got Tristan kind of peeking up on the top side. And we are down and away, but so we're
Look
learning
at Ryan
a lot
Kelly
here.
going for that outside line from P5 here. It looks like he watched exactly where Stouffer was going to move, and he may get a spot here entering turn 1.
Oh, we got Stouffer up in the wall. I wonder if there was a big move there that didn't go to plan. He's going to keep rolling, but caution is back out of that right front, definitely up in the air. I'm wondering, unfortunately, possibly some. Let's see.
I wonder if he had a. I wonder if he had a VR failure. I know he races with a VR right there, so
and that might be
like
why he was running the bottom there, is because of that. So we'll watch and see. Because I mean, initially I was like, oh yeah, maybe contact with Tristan, but I was like, no, wait a second, he was a mile away from Tristan, and yeah, that car just doesn't turn. So I think you're right. I think some sort of a failure there, and he just I mean, it's a good thing here. He just kind of slows it down, keeps it pinned against the wall, and then he's able to grab a gear and get going again. But that's a tough one from the lead. I think he had the same issue last week, if I'm not mistaken, having some hardware issues as well in that 13 car. So that's
Charles Johnson gets the way around.
Oh yeah, that's right. So that gets all of those guys now back, and Hugo in the 57 car had that early incident. He's like, finally, guys, I need to have some sort of an opportunity for myself.
Absolutely,
here.
Yeah.
But that said, though, Hugo's actually he's already 2 down now only, so he's not in a bad spot either. So, so that's going to, once again, here shake things up just a teeny bit. So not a lot to change here, Andrew. So, again, not much to bring up. So we'll do once more here as we'll come back again, do another quick ad. And this time we'll be pulling up our our Whiplash Sim Cams, our wonderful cameras we have. So again, stay tuned. We'll be right back. lights are back off the pace car. And yeah, unfortunately, can confirm a VR failure for Christopher there. Andrew's able to hear him up over the radio apologizing to the guys. And then Matt chiming in as well, once more texting and driving. We do not approve of that here at Green White Checker TV. Don't text and drive, sim or otherwise. But yeah, I appreciate the info, Matt. But yeah, so we're back to restarting here. 52 to go. Again, outside the fuel window to make it to the end. But the gaps are getting bigger now. So these leaders last pitted on 65. The guys that most recently pitted are now at 81, 82. So it's about a 15-lap swing. Again, a lot of yellows, so that'll change things a little bit. But again, Tristan rolling off the pace car, letting him get that gap, give him control. And then we'll see how it goes. And Matt's ready for us to keep an eye on him. So watch the 6 car. Probably going to make some moves as we are back underway. As the field starts to build their way through 3 and 4. And so far, so good looking through the field. So I think, once again, a good restart by all these guys. So now it's going to be, again, it's going to be some decisions to make here. Do you push? Do you save? Try to get some of that track position back as quick as possible. As you see, Daniel Durazo is doing exactly that. He wants to try to get up front as quick as he can, try to dispatch that number 87 of Chris Jabot, and he'll get that spot out of turn 4. Ryan Kelly's going to try to follow along, and this is Daniel's best opportunity that he hasn't been able to be that leading outside driver yet, so he's going to give that run a shot up in that top 2 spot here as he comes out of 4. Next time by will be at 50 to go.
Looks like some of those guys that got the wave around, such as Charles Johnson, Hugo, and those guys that are a few laps down. So Charles Johnson will be our benchmark for trying to figure out if they can do this on no more stops. But I think that 50-lap window is going to be very, very tough to do. But if there's another couple cautions, then you could possibly see him make his way back towards the front again. So I think that's exactly what is going through his head, trying to see if he can make up a couple spots that way.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. Craig, it's like he flirted with the wall there off of 2, but he was our first driver to hit a 23-second lap in this race, 23.99. He went purple last time by in that number 99 car. So, but yeah, I mean, I just watched Sam Cosner there, and I mean, he went middle 3. So we're kind of back at the beginning of this race where these guys,
Sam wants to lead.
Know.
I could tell that the way he's riding right now, he wants to get right up there as soon as he possibly can. He's going for second place right now.
Yeah, so again, now this is where Tristan, I mean, we saw this at Homestead. We saw it with Stouffer as well earlier. So now we'll see if he's able to hold that bottom a little bit harder, a little longer here tonight to protect it. You see right there, he saw the opening there, and Sam thought about it, and Tristan's like, no, let me get back down here before you even get that opportunity. So yeah, so I think definitely the aggression has picked back up. I'm seeing more and more drivers start to creep back into the mix here. See Edson starting to work his way back up there. Charles Teed, I think, has decided, all right, it's probably about time to start playing too. So yeah, so I think these guys are realizing that it's about time to go, and aggression definitely appears to be ramping up here.
Everybody knows they have one more pit stop to go, so they want to try and get to the front as fast as they can because they want to be the one that's just ahead of those other 3 cars that are behind them. It's very difficult to do here at Texas, though, especially when both sides of the track are so different. You have one side of the track that's very flat, and you have one side of the track that you can really run flat. So it's definitely very difficult, and you can see that some of these guys are trying to give some leeway, but they're saying, no, this is my spot, and I'm going for it. So I still think that the way that these cars are riding right now, that the bottom line is still the way to go. That might change later on in the race, but it looks like everyone's still going to that bottom right now.
Yeah, I think on fresh tires, I think it is a bottom feeding track, but I do feel like after, again, in my mind, I think it was 20 laps. Again, these things clicked by so fast, I can't keep track. But I do feel like I've seen over the course of the fuel run, though, that outside really starts to build up. But what I'm really watching, too, is these cars all look like they're on pretty much a knife's edge, though, as well, Andrew. I mean, they just look extremely twitchy when they make some of the moves from the lane changes. And, what's that front wing there pop off? Who was that? Was that Edson?
I think it was Edson. Yeah, Edson, Charles Steed.
Came back, though, so I think he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, I don't think there was any real contact there, but Charles kind of traveled from the middle lane to the high lane, and Edson was planted right on the high lane there. So I think that was his line, and unfortunately got taken away from him. But Edson's planted on that high side right now. I think you're going to continue to see him work that high side going forward.
Yeah, no, the high side's definitely been kind of progressively building here. As you can see now, it's been the two of Daniel Durazo rolling the second lane, the first car up there. But Chris Jabot, he got knocked back to maybe about 5th or 6th, but he's found his way back now. He's up into the third, second car on that inside line as well. So, a little bobble there for him out of 2. But and here's Cosner, though. They're going to try to go 3 wide here for that top spot. And 3-0, big bobble there. I think he got a little nervous with the 2 car there, or maybe got the 3 wide call and reacted there. Quick hands by that 00.
I'm watching Edson. Edson's just kind of chilling on that high side all by himself right now, and doesn't look like he's making moves, but I think he's trying to predict what's going on going forward. I think he's going to have the run on Collins there on the outside, and he's got Teed on the outside as well. So I think that high side's working for Edson right now. I'm going to look for Edson to really make some moves going forward here.
Well, I think someone's VR is working, and he's trying to repeat what he did at the beginning of stint here, and that's Stouffer. And he has worked his way back up into that top 10. And so he's going to try to find anywhere to put that 13 car because so that's one of those things. Again, he's not mad at anybody, but I'm sure driving a little angry in that 13 car. So he's going to try to get some of those spots back. Of course, further forward you get, the tougher it's going to be, but already making some big ground there in that 13 car.
I think Charles Teed and Will Stearns are kind of blocking that entire bottom part of the top 10 from making any moves there because Will's very much planted on the outside. Charles Teed is kind of hanging in the middle there, but I think Edson's going to be able to outsmart them at some point here or there. And Collins is right there as well.
So I just saw Brandon Briggs. He's hit pit road, and I think that's for him again. He was the one that went really long, so it is a scheduled stop, I believe, for the 39 car. So that, and say it is in the window. It's in that 40-lap window we had talked about, so he should be good here to the end. And, got 2 guys flirting up there with the wall. I think one of those was Bill Colley, and I couldn't catch the other one, but yeah, man, right now, I know I want track position, but man, I'm terrified if I'm in this like top 10, 15 pack right now because any little mistake at the front, like 3 or 4, is that the 40 car? I think Herrick maybe caught the wall there through the tri-oval.
I think it was Herrick, yeah, but I think he just got enough of it that he's all right with it. But I'm still watching
just
Edson.
Saw front
Edson
wing pop off as well. It came back. Yes, it did. I think Herrick and Laverne had a little bit of either contact or net code. Don't know. But say it's one of those things. You see the wing end plate pop off, then it came back, and so you never know for sure. But man, Cosner and Durazo, that was
very close.
As you could want.
So Santos kind of had to give for Stouffer a little bit on the outside there. Stouffer got the move done through 1 and 2, and Edson unfortunately had to kind of lift a little bit, and he got the move done on both Edson and Will Stearns and Charles Teed. So Stouffer is now up, battling on that inside line, going for the top 6 or so. Yeah,
pinned on the inside here. And again, and the more I'm watching this, Andrew, I was going to mention what do you think about short pitting of theirs? He jumps in front of the 87. 87 is going to cut right back underneath here. I mean, yeah, this is highway traffic right now at 200 plus. But I was going to mention oh man, short pit, get in your window, you're good to go, come in early. But the way this is going, I mean, you're going to lose a lap in the pits. Unfortunately, I don't think you can. But here goes Stouffer. He's going to run that top side here. He's fighting for second, trying to get Durazo here. And we'll see if he can hang on to that spot here. Durazo's going to run middle here. That's going to put him up top in 3. And he's going to try to do the over-under out of 4. I think he's going to be able to get that spot. We'll see if the momentum gets him back up top in 1. Nope, can't quite do it. Has to back out of it.
I think Cosner is the strongest car right now. He's picking both the bottom and the top lane, and he seems to be the strongest one that's able to run. Yeah, Stouffer got a little bit loose there, and I think Jabot is going to go underneath him. But Cosner seems to be very patient. He's running his car kind of in every lane, but not getting very loose or very squirrely under any of these conditions here. So I think Cosner's found a spot where he likes, and I think if he's able to keep his tires underneath him, he may be able to make some moves later. Will Stearns touches the wall there.
Yes, and as we've seen, that turn 2 has been the trouble spot for a lot of these guys. I think it was a little bit moment for him as well earlier in this race. So, and like I said, and that's why to me, it's just I don't think you can take the gamble in the short pit. The other thing to mention is right now, of those guys that when they pitted right now, pretty much the top 10 is just about all in the lap 65 mark. except for Stover pitted at 81. Again, a lot of yellows there, but he can afford to be more aggressive on his fuel map if these guys aren't already, which I don't see any way these guys aren't in map 1. But so he can go a little further. Look at Ryan Kelly. He's going to try to jump to the top side and make a move to the top spot here as they head back through 1. And this Ryan's got a good spot here because he's going to get a great exit out of 2.
I can't. I still think Cosner's got it all figured out. He's got every line of this track covered right now, both sides of turn 1 and 2 and turn 3 and 4. And I think he's just being very, very patient right now. He may get swallowed up by some of these guys that are running a little stronger, but I think he has a general idea of where he wants to put his car for the end of the race here. And although every single lane is taken through most of these spots here, I think Stouffer's kind of upsetting this mess a little bit.
Another one that's making a huge charge right now is that 21, Nick Cohan. Hadn't really talked about him for a little while. He's worked his way all the way up into the top 5 now. Think same thing. Some of these guys are looking at their watch and said, all right, if we get a caution, as I say that, we're going to get a caution because it's in the back here. And it is, got one up and over there. I think that was Bill Burrell jumping over Will Stearns. John Borst, unfortunately, involved the teammate of the car we just referred to. And so that is going to bring the yellow out for the evening here. We'll go back and look, and unfortunately, it looks like a couple tows already having to occur. And I'm wondering, and say we saw Stearns involved. Let's see. Try to make sure I don't go back too far.
I think it was Stearns and Borst, I believe. Was the other car.
So we're going to start with Stearns here because he's up on the top side. And watching Borst on the inside line here. Nothing too much. Oh, I think, does he get loose in the trial? Well, I'm not sure, but unfortunately, it's kind of, let's say they meet in the middle there. Not sure if maybe he came down a little bit, but
yeah, I think there was a netcode incident there.
Oh, that's a tough one because again, I mean, you don't know, and then again, you can see in the background here the 21 car just trying to get stopped, and then right here he's just going to kind of ramp up and over the that 908 car, and unfortunately that's going to give Bill a little bit of damage as well here, but I think he was able to make it to pit road minus a nose cone, so we'll jump live because here comes pit stops, and I think where question's going to get answered.
Everybody's pitting.
Everybody's in this, saying we're good to the end from here. Do we see any gamblers? I think everybody here that is on pit road is on the lead lap. So looks like, I believe, is it Brandon's going to get his lap back or waiting to see? Yes, so Brandon Briggs will be the first car one down, so he's going to get the wave around. And then the other thing you'll see here, though, is these guys staying out to get their laps back, which will include Joseph Morales. And then I think Hugo Galaz is, I think this might put him back to 1 down. Yes, it would put him with 1 down. And it looks like Charles Johnson also put a second lap down. I believe, he had pitted under green as well. So that's what knocked Charles down a lap, unfortunately. So, yeah, at this point now, Andrew, I mean, it's going to be an outright brawl to the end. There's no fuel in the mix anymore. It's just they've got what they've got to the end, and we've already seen how spicy it's been. It's going to get crazy, I think, even more so now, and put Stouffer now back up into that runner-up spot here after that run to the front.
I'm not really sure who's got the advantage here, Gael. It seems like everybody's racing very hard at the front, and if you could pin yourself down to that white line, I think that's the best way to go if you're the leader. But I think over time, if you're able to keep that car pinned down there on the outside, I think this is the time of the race where the outside is going to start to work a little bit more. We'll have to see how it goes from here on out, but I'm still excited to see some of these guys that have shown their face up towards the front that have not done so before. So I'm curious to see how this will play out. I still think that the leader is going to have the advantage for sure, but it's not really written in stone yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been talking about that magic, like we'll say 20 lap margin. So you're right though. I think bottom lane is definitely going to be king right now. The question mark is going to be when. Actually, let me go back a little. We've got a little bit of a checkup going here. Say, not sure if someone's having trouble getting going, or so say they fell way back off the leaders here, but it looks like everybody's moving now again. So I think we'll be okay. But yeah, no, so it's like I said, I think for Treston now, this is definitely you want to hold that bottom. And if they're going to beat you, they got to beat you up top. I think you like I said, you paint that white line. We've seen people make it work. We've seen a few guys able to either get a nose head at the line or even just get around completely. So on the second lane, but again, I think it's going to take too many laps for that to happen. So, but to me, it's just going to be the danger window is going to be pretty much. I think from fifth on back is going to be just terrifying if you're in that, the way this pack has been here on this race.
I think the way that this race has gone, I think we may see one more yellow before the end, but hopefully everyone keeps it clean and we have a nice side-by-side reaction going on throughout the field here.
Yeah, you see there, Tristan gets a good start here. Again, watching the field here as they build through the out of 4 through start-finish line. Again, looks like another great restart by all these guys. A little bit of a grass there, I think it was Matt that had to react to it. But it's going to be Tristan here that's going to take the lead here out of turn 2. And now, again, we'll watch to see the momentum shift. And I'm watching Stoff already. He's trying to stay out of that draft. See if maybe he can try to time this toe here. I think watch for him to get this big run here, jump to the top, and see if he can clear him entering turn number 1 here. So this is going to be a good fight here entering turn number 1 here.
I think Sam Cosner still got that run going. I believe he's the best car right now that has the high line and the low line figured out. So, we have a car and touch the wall there.
I won't tell you who it was.
It was Sam Cosner.
I think I think it was just enough to put a puff of smoke on, but I think he's going to be okay.
Is that my first commentator's curse, Kyle?
Hey, if we got through one race, that's pretty good. Nick Cohen's going to send it underneath here, entering turn 1 here. He's got to try to keep it down, not get into the side pod. They're going to make contact. They're stuck together. Oh, my goodness. Huge crash. Yep, I'd say that sent him, unfortunately, to the moon. And that's going to send him into basically having to tow because it's just sent him completely off track. And I mean, it was a big move by the 21, and then just unfortunately a little bit of contact through out of the exit of 2, and then the cars just got hooked together. I mean, at that point, yeah.
Watch Chris Chabot's on board there. That's going to be the crazy one, I think.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump back here. So we'll back it down here a little bit, and then we'll focus on the number 87 car. Where's that roll bar camera? All right, so we'll back down the pace here. And so you can see right here, they make the contact kind of off of the exit of 2. And then right here, they're just literally, I mean, you can see that, I mean, we saw on live, but they're hooked together there. And then right here, once they finally hit the wall, it just throws them off. And oh my goodness. Oh, so this might be one of those, does netcode save him, or does he get some damage out of this?
Yeah, it looks like he has a front wing that's bent a little bit. The right front side of that front wing is bent on Jabot's car.
Like it out of all of that, I think it's gonna mostly be a 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to call. He's not coming to fix it, so it might.
Yeah, as long as you don't want to give up the track position. Let's see if we can spy in a little closer on that car here. Is that nose? It looks okay to me, honestly. I think the netcode may have given him a pretty big reprieve there in the 87 car. So, yeah, so I was saying, I mean, again, it's not going to change a lot here at this point. It's going to basically be a restart now within 20 to go. And obviously the big changes, unfortunately, I say just Tristan in a great spot pretty much all race long, and just unfortunately doesn't go his way there at the end. And it's kind of like Homestead last week, except for at least at Homestead he was still able to get a 13th place finish, but on this one tonight's gonna definitely not quite be there. And the other thing that we didn't mention in all of this is Hugo. I think, does he get Hugo back to the lead lap? No, just one down for Hugo though, now in the 57.
John Borst got the wave around there.
Oh, I wonder if Hugo somehow was involved then, because I'm still showing John as 2 down, which is interesting. But interesting on that one, yeah. So basically right now we've got Hugo 1 down, Charles Johnson 1 down, I believe Nick, and is Nick 2 down? Waiting for timing scoring to update on my side. Actually, Nick Cohen's showing 1 down as well, and then John Borst says 2 laps down. So, and again, we saw the contact for him earlier. That's what got him, just unfortunately wrong place, wrong time. And so, yeah, so restart this thing here, Andrew. 18 to go. And a lot of the guys we've seen up front are back up front still. But like I said, a few new names, new faces to the league who are going to try to kind of mix things up a little bit. We saw the 21. He tried to get something to happen, just obviously didn't quite work out. A little bit of contact there at a 2. But we mentioned Ryan Kelly, new to the series here. Chris Chabot as well, relatively new, I think, over here. So we'll see. But now I think Stouffer, same thing. He's got to figure out, all right, these are guys that maybe I don't race with week in and week out, so I don't know what their moves are going to be, like a Charles Teed or a Craig Forsyth. So it's almost going to be a little bit of a guessing game for him for what he's going to expect to see from a Ryan Kelly on this restart.
Nobody really knows. I still think Sam Cosner didn't get damaged there. He's a little bit behind, but he's a little more stuck in the pack than I would like to see for someone that can really make some moves here. In a row now that he's been taken out of the lead group there. So
there we go. Stouffer again, this time on the inside again, gets going here. Looks like another good start for him. As they come through here, they'll take the green flag. This is 18 to go. Looking further on back, it looks like we've spread out nicely once more. And right off the bat, though, you can see Durazo's, again, he's one of those ones he's trying to capitalize on all these restarts. So he's going to try to take that bottom lane. Ryan Kelly's going to play nice, it looks like. He won't fight that spot too hard. So we'll see if he can get the momentum off, or can Durazo get to the top? Answer is no. Ryan Kelly's going to hang on to that second spot on the outside lane.
I think Durazo is kind of on track to get finish in this series. He's been racing up front most of last season, but something always seems to happen at the last second for him. So if he could just kind of hang where he's hanging now, I think that's his best opportunity to get a spot on the podium here. Charles Teed has definitely come up a little bit here. He was kind of stuck in bottom part of the top spot for a while, but now he's finding himself in 5th spot here. So this is a great opportunity for him to do something as well.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. Yeah, we've got a lot of guys in some great positions there, right in front of, or behind him, I should say now. Jason Collins is right there. We've seen the pace that he's had a lot lately. So yeah, so there's a lot of guys here. There goes Stouffer, Chris Chabot. He's going to try to peek on the inside. We saw the 21 try that earlier, and we'll see, can he keep the momentum out? No, it's going to hang on to that 13. So they got to be careful now. Looks like that inside, you can't get that big arc that maybe you were getting earlier, because if you leave that car length, I mean, someone's going to try to take it. So Chris gave it a shot, didn't quite pan out. However, now he's leading that second lane, which it's been one of the better lanes if you couldn't hold the inside line as the leader. So we'll see if Chris can make anything happen on the second lane. But you can see right now Stouffer just, like you said, painting that white line and able to just get great exit as well. Chris going to steal some draft, jump back to the top side here through 3 and 4. We'll be at 13 to go at the line. Here comes Durazo going to try to grab that second spot back.
You know, Ryan Kelly had a great inside line there on Stouffer on that about 2 laps ago, and that was very impressive, actually. I didn't think you could hang on the inside of 1 and 2 for that long and get that much of an advantage. It really kind of hampered his opportunity to get him into 3, but it's very noteworthy to note that you can get your car way down the inside there. So I'll be looking to see if that move gets run later on in the race. But at this point, you want to be on the inside. If you're on the outside, you'll have the run through maybe the exit of 2, but through 3 and 4, you're going to completely run over.
Yeah, no, inside line is definitely where you need to be through 3 and 4. Through 3 and 4. But yeah, so you're right though, and it's like you said at the beginning, you set your run up through 1 and 2, or through 3 and 4. I'll get it right eventually, and then make the move into 1 and 2. So right now, Durazo there, he is just
look who's in P10, Guile.
It's about time to go, and we're going to go 3 wide here again. You see the 87 trying to hang that bottom. We'll see, can he stay alongside?
P9, P8. He has now crawled into a race-winning position. Craig Forsyth's not someone that you ever really want to count on in these races. And if the lane's clear out for him, he should be good. He's going for the outside line here, and he might pick up a top 5 by the exit of turn 2 even.
Yeah, he's making some big moves there. And that's twice now I've seen, though, that 87 Chris Chabot, he has really made that inside in turn 1 work. He's gotten to the inside of Stouffer. Just
Forsyth's picked up 6 spots in 1.5 laps. That's incredible.
And here comes Cosner. While we were talking about him, he's just jumped up to second. So here you go. We're getting down to it. Single digits here to go, though. 9 laps. Oh, contact.
Oh! Yeah, that was Sam Cosner getting into contact. Was that Jabot?
Durazo.
I believe?
That
was Durazo.
The very end bad luck, unfortunately, continues for Durazo. He's going to try to limp this thing back to the pits, but you can see that car is not tracking straight. He's doing all he can to try to kind of maintain time and just get a quick fast repair in. But so we'll jump back up front here as it's now Cosner working that second lane there. Craig looking at the middle, trying to find the clean air. And yeah, like I said, it was just everybody was getting antsy, getting dicey, trying to find a move as Cosner.
Cosner's going for it.
I don't know if you can do that or not.
Oh.
That's Chris isn't going to be happy about that one. So this is going to probably get even more aggressive here.
I think he's going to have to get that position back, and Forsyth, unfortunately, is going to. It looks like he's actually giving it back right now.
He rolled out of
may
it.
lose his, but Forsyth is the one to take advantage of it, and he's the admin. So that's going to be an interesting conversation after this race. But actually, it looks like it just was given back with no penalty there. Forsyth is now losing spots. But I mean, that was an incredible crawl through the top 10 for Forsyth. He just, like I said, sometimes the river just kind of opens up and you find yourself, wow, I'm just finally moving up all these spots. And that's exactly what happened to Forsyth. But I think he, as an admin, might have noticed something was a little weird there, and for Stouffer and Cosner switched those spots. So Cosner will have to do it all over again. But I still have faith that he knows exactly what line he wants to run here as we get, 5 laps to go?
Yeah, 5 to go. And the other thing, of course, mentioned, there are no green-white checkers here. So at this point, you're pretty much going to have to make the move as soon as you can. So that's going to be the next thing, is you can't wait till that last lap because you don't know when that last lap is going to be. So right now, Stouffer's still hanging on to it. He's had some really big challenges. Like you said, we saw Cosner there run the apron for a moment. Now Craig's trying to ride that top side here in the 99. So, but again, though, you got to be careful. If you leave too much opening, that's going to open the third lane here. As you're going to have, looks like 3 wide for second. Oh, got trouble in the back there.
Collins and
oh my goodness, Laverne. Big flip, but he landed on his wheels somehow. We'll go back because that was a barrel roll and a half. Caution's out with 3 to go here. This might be it. There's potential of a green checkered. We'll see.
I think this is going to be it, unfortunately, because they're going to come around to 33, and you need 2 laps to go under the caution.
But watch this one more time here. I've never seen something like this before, and we'll see. And we saw, look at Chris Jabot. Look how loose he gets. There's the contact. It looks like that is, I think it's Jason Collins as well that is involved. But watch right here. So he starts to do the barrel roll, but then watch how he lands this thing. I'm not going to count how many he has, but he lands perfectly right back on his wheels and is able to kind of keep that car limping forward. Obviously, you can see both wheels broken. That car is not going to rotate or anything. But I don't know if I've ever seen a car do a barrel roll like that, land on its wheels, and be able to keep moving. And I'm curious now. I'm going to watch this through. Does he actually get to pit road? No, I think he has to stop and tow at the end. But that's one of the crazier wrecks I've seen. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, we saw Treston kind of get sent to orbit there as well earlier. So, but yeah, no, actually, you're going to be right here. This looks like this will finish under yellow because we have the lights still on the pace car. We're 2 to go, so that means it would be lights off on the 1 to go. So this should be the finishing position here. You see Charles Johnson going to get one of his laps back. I'm also, so I'm going to have to give him a hard time about that. I just saw Brandon Briggs hit pit road here. Not sure if it cost him any spots or not, but he's went ahead. It's like, I'm going to finish on fresh tires here. But yeah, so it looks like it will finish off with Stouffer somehow pulling off the win. I mean, that's a back to the front race for him. That's going to be quite the interview. Forsyth, same thing. I mean, Craig was 2 down, I believe, Andrew, to get back into second spot.
Yes, that was 2 down.
And then Cosner, I mean, he's been up front. Obviously, unfortunately, he had a little bit of contact towards the end with Durazo, so that's never the way you want to get a podium. But again, I mean, this track, I mean, it was kind of not, I wouldn't say bound to happen, but the quarters are so close. And then Jeff Heisong, I mean, we saw him have a huge wreck avoidance earlier in the race. And then Chris Jabot, battling up front all race long, able to snag a top 5 still at the end. So really, really good runs for those guys. As they will take the white here. And like I said, there are no green-white checkers here on the Tuesday IndyCar series. And actually, man, these texting and driving drivers, Andrew, say he just popped in here saying he had a meatball flag. So caution, actually, probably a great break for him, which will give him actually a top 15. So Brandon, I already know you're spying on us. So great job tonight, sir. That puts you up 13 spots in tonight's event. And then you talked about, Bill Colley, he's going to come home in 12th spot in that number 31 car. So a really good run for him as well. So trying to find, where's our boy Joseph? There's Joseph Morales, top 15 for him there in that number 60 car. And that's a 28 car field we're starting in. So not, I say these are solid results, and some that are not going to be happy with top 10 results. Matt Wagner just couldn't get the recovery I feel like that he was hoping for there at the end.
Yeah, this was always going to be a little bit of an interesting race, Gael, just because of the different sides of the track, and everybody's kind of doing different stuff on different sides of the track. They want to run high, they want to run low. That's why I was looking at guys like Edson, Sam Cosner, that were kind of racing both sides of the track in a different way, and maybe they weren't doing something right away, but they were trying to set themselves up for later on in the run. And someone like Craig Forsyth there, he went from 12th to 4th in 2 laps, and it just seems like they went completely different to what everyone else was doing, that everyone else was running for several laps there, and it seemed to work out for them. And, I still think that with the bigger fields, I think guys are still trying to get used to racing one another, and it's a little bit different for some certain people. And, yeah, it was definitely an interesting one, Kyle.
Yeah, no, there's a lot happening tonight, but yeah, like you said, though, still, unfortunately, obviously more cautions that I'm sure that the drivers or the admins wanted to have, but again, just some really intense racing tonight. As like I said, it's gonna I still don't know how that that's something we'll ask him, how Stouffer's able to get back to the front, because it was not easy to pass, but he did it a couple times in tonight's event, as he's gonna get the win. Yeah, I was saying I'm gonna make you run the show on that final interview on Stouffer, because I know
Copy.
You always love to give him some grief. So, but yeah, so it's gonna be Stouffer with the win over Forsyth, Cosner there in 3rd in that podium spot, then Haisong Chris Jabot in the top 5, and Ryan Kelly still grabs 6th spot. Again, he was up front a good chunk of tonight as well. Edson Santos there 7th, Jim Herrick a top 10 in 8th, Matt Wagner, Larry Yingling as well getting those top 10s. Charles Teed in 11th, Bill Colley 12th, Bill Burrell 13th, Joseph Morales, Brandon Briggs 14th and 15th, and then Charles Johnson last car on the lead lap in that 16th position. And then you saw the contact towards the end, unfortunately, put Nick there down in 17th, 1 down. Hugo Galaz, he tried all race long to try to get those laps back. Unfortunately, 18th was where he wound up tonight. And then John Boris, just bad luck once more for the 86 car, winds up 19th. Jason Collins, late incident for him as well, 3rd and 20th. Same for Gary Laverne. Tough breaks for those two guys. And Daniel Durazo, once again, just zero luck at the ends of these races, like we talked about Andrew in 22nd. Tristan Forson, same thing. Dominant all night long, just didn't have the luck at the end with the contact. 24th. And Peterson, their early retirement, along with Derek Catt, Nicholas Stockner, and Robert Smith.
I think our biggest climber was Bill Colley, if I'm not mistaken.
It would be Bill Colley if not for this Chris Stouffer fella who didn't have a chance to qualify. So I'm going to say basically yes, basically Bill Colley.
I was just doing a quick little rundown there, and I noticed that Bill picked up 15 spots during the race.
And that's a good point. Sam gained 12 spots, Chris Jabot 12 spots, Larry Yingling 12, and then Bill Colley 15, Bill Burrell 11, Morales 12, Brandon Briggs 13. So some really, really good climbers there tonight. Only one driver finished where they started. That's Ryan Kelly. Started 6th, finished 6th.
I wouldn't take that to be any loss. Sometimes if you overqualify and you say, hey, I'm not racing with guys I'm not used to racing with so much, if you just finish where you started, that's progress. And I'm sure Ryan Kelly especially got a lot of experience racing with these guys tonight. So look to him to put up some good runs in the future as well.
Yeah, exactly right. As I say Stover's going to use up all of that engine and tires on that 13 car. And so we're trying to hunt down some drivers to chat with, and I haven't found Sam yet, so we might have to go a little bit out of order at the moment. Oh, there's Sam as soon as I say that, so we're going to grab him on over and have a chat. All right, Andrew, we're going to grab that third place in the 00. Sam Cosner bringing home in that third position. And, I mean, Andrew, you were kind of, you felt like he had the lines pretty much nailed down tonight, top side, bottom side, where, again, I mean, there's a lot to figure out tonight for strategy. Do you feel safe? Do you go for it for track position? I mean, obviously a chunk of yellows tonight, Sam, but also at the same time, there was a lot of strategy involved for when to pit, when to stay out. And then do you feel safe at points in the race? I mean, what was your game plan? I mean, were you having to change it a bunch, or did you kind of, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing, and kind of stick with it through the race?
Yeah, it definitely changed quite a bit, especially with where the yellows flew. They flew in a couple of really interesting spots. Going into the race, I knew that there was going to be some fuel save required, so I got the majority of that done on the first run, and then I thought I was good to kind of go all out there. And then the way the yellows flew, I ended up having to do a little bit more of a fuel save on, I believe it was like the third run. And then it was on from there. But yeah, it was really interesting the way all that played out.
Yeah, Sam, it seemed like actually watching how you were driving, it seemed like you were playing every single lane of the track during your entire run in the top like 6 or so there. You were losing a few spots, gaining a few spots back. So were you really trying to plan for the end of the race there to see if you were to get a few spots that were a little unsuspecting, or were you just trying to find some clean air whatsoever? Because it either can be true. You could be really planning for the end of the race, or you could just be like, hey, I don't want to lose 7 spots right now.
Yeah, it was absolutely both. I spent a lot of the final run there to the caution that ended the race trying to plan for the final move of the race. And a lot of it was just trying to be in clean air, but at the same time, you want to feel things out. And it felt like the high side was definitely the place to be, but then you needed to be over in turn 3 and 4 on the bottom side. So I actually had one of my teammates, Shane Coker, gave me a little bit of advice to run like a high side down to bottom side and then see if you can't get to the inside of turn 3. So I spent the whole run trying to set that up to make the passes, specifically on the lead, but you would kind of get boxed in on the high side at the same time, and then you'd roll a couple spots back, roll a couple spots forward. But yeah, I had to set it up to try to be on the bottom for the pass for the lead going into turn 3.
I think I was actually watching your moves there, and it seemed like you had some momentum, and then you clapped the wall there on one of the restarts after commentators cursed you, unfortunately. Did that damage your car at all, or was it just a little bit of a tire rub there, and it didn't really hurt the car too much?
I'm pretty sure it was just a tire rub. Yeah, I felt no different afterward. I was pretty nervous about it. It handed me a 2X there, so I thought maybe I'd knock like an end plate off or knock the toe out. But yeah, no, the car ate it and kept right on going.
Yeah, so and that's the thing is turn 2 definitely seemed to be a big trouble spot tonight for a lot of drivers. I mean, we saw, like I said, saw some of the regulars catch it, and just that was definitely the trouble spot. So something Andrew mentioned was pretty much going to this race was his way of passing was going to be kind of set the guy up in 3 and 4, get the run, and then try to get them through 1 and 2. Was that kind of the same game plan you had, or in the pack that you were in, was it just kind of try to get and take what you could when you had the opportunities?
It was definitely a lot of give and take, but yeah, that was my approach to coming through the field. I think I qualified like 15th, and I made a handful of moves going off into turn 1, just sending it really low on the entry, taking all you can get down there while other guys are swinging it wide. And then, like I said, late in the run, it felt like you needed to set it up to finish the move into turn 3.
So you're able to jump, like you said, you were spot on 15th up to 3rd, so great race, like I said, able to gain all those spots. Before we let you go, definitely want to give you the floor, though. Any thanks and shouts for that podium here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to apologize to Durazo. We had a little bit of an incident going into turn 1. I didn't really see entirely what happened. I haven't caught a replay yet either, but I knew going into the corner that I was going to swing wide and try to stay in the clean air from the car in front of me, and I think he turned in like normal, and we kind of banged fenders there. Same with the 13 Stouffer there going into turn 3. I felt like I had to go for it. I felt like that was my one and only shot. But other than that, yeah, I just want to give a big thanks to all the votive guys. I wouldn't be here without them. Shane, Nick, Mason, Clindy, Turner, all of the guys. Yeah, they've taken me from stock cars and gotten me pretty good at this Indy thing, I guess.
Well, it's definitely fun to have you over here. I say definitely shows you know what you're doing with these guys as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more of you through the season. Like I said, definitely one that Andrew's been keeping his eye on you. So look forward to see what you got for these guys the rest of the season, man.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, guys.
All right, that was our third place finisher there, Sam Cosner. Now we got to jump back one more spot here, or forward, I should say, one more spot here, and that is this fellow here, Craig Forsyth. So finishes third last week at Homestead for the opener, brings it home second tied, and it was definitely an easy drive for you, right, Craig? You just kind of cruised around, started seventh, finished second. Nothing else happened tonight, right?
No, it was a complete snooze fest. Nothing was interesting. No one got excited by the race whatsoever. I'm sorry that there was just nothing interesting going on for anyone that whole race.
Didn't have to get two laps back, none of that stuff.
No, not at all. No, it was wow. Yeah, that first wreck was it was unfortunate. I mean, that's one of those cases of doing everything right, but it's still not going for you. They when they got together, they immediately went up to the outside wall. I knew to drop to the bottom, but I also completely let off the gas. The guys behind me had no time to react to that, so got hit from that. I probably shouldn't have waited quite so long to try and see if my car was good, because I think I spent more time in the pits waiting for my tow than anyone else, because I thought I could spin the car back around and drive it and stay on the lead lap. And when all the cars finally got by me and I finally stepped on the gas pedal, I just discovered I didn't have any rear wheels anymore. So that was unfortunate. But no, and then it was getting lucky. We got really lucky on one of the cautions where I think Charles was ahead of me at the time, and the caution didn't come out till I completed the pass on him, so it gave me the lucky dog, which was lucky for me. We ended up having another caution, so he got back on the lead lap as well. And then yeah, it was just charging up through the field. It was so hard to get through when the guys were running 2 wide, 3 wide through some of the corners. Just trying to find clean space was so difficult tonight. And so, yeah, we got really lucky a couple times. I saw the top line was open and just stuck it, and was able to jump on it and surprise a couple guys and get up there. And then at that point, it was just a matter of trying to bring it home. And I won't lie, I'm happy that last caution came out, because I did not envy defending second place for 3 more laps.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to ask about that big run you had there from the about 12th or so, and it seemed like you picked up about 7 or 8 spots. You'll hear on the broadcast that I was talking about it, that you just managed to have the whole Red Sea parted for you, and I can't imagine that was planned necessarily. Like, you just managed to find a spot that you got the high side and everybody kind of went low at the right time, and it just worked out for you there. So how hard was it for you to pick which side of the track that you wanted to use, both in turn 1 and 2, and then manage to tuck in turn 3 and 4 and keep the momentum going for the remaining laps you had left?
With how close the car, I was just constantly searching for clean air, because the clean air is what kept the wheels underneath you without overheating them. It was a constant battle to keep the tires out of the red, which is the nice thing with the new with the new steering wheel, where you can actually see your tire temperatures now. So I will admit I've gotten a lot better in the last 3 weeks at making sure that my front and rear right side tires are a lot closer in tire temperature than they used to be. But no, it was, I think I told Charles, it's like, I think I hit the outside. I was so surprised that the outside lines opened up that I hit the outside wall on entry, accelerating into it, just because it was such a perfect opportunity to get a bunch of positions, and because the guys had gone so low that they were off throttle. So yeah, we gained a ton of positions like that. I look forward to seeing it again, because it sure felt good in the car to just suddenly know that like it was hooked up and it was going around that corner at full tilt.
Oh yeah, no, there was big excitement from Andrew when he says like, basically it's like, are you seeing what I'm seeing here? Because yeah, like I said, I mean it looked like you had another gear basically at the end. But yeah, no, really really good job, Craig, to like I said, a huge recovery, and then to bring it back. And say it seemed to be maybe kind of the theme of the night, because your teammate there had to do the last to first challenge tonight, so he went on full hard mode as well. But yeah, again, a great race for you, great result for you to bring it home tonight. Obviously a tough one, as I'm sure on the admin side of things, but this was obviously a tricky one. I mean, it was definitely it felt like a plate race on the NASCAR side from our Friday and Sunday series here. But yeah, before we let you go and do any other stuff you got to do, definitely got to give you the floor here as always, and any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
No, I got to thank the whole team over at 40 Raceware. Jim got himself an 8th tonight. Bill was up in 13th. I mean, he went from 24th to 13th, so good from him. And I mean, Chris, 25th to 1st, to have his VR go off on him, and have to go in, get the fast repair to get the damn. I mean, first off, to not cause a huge wreck, losing your VR in first, and then be able to come right back and go back to the lead after that. That's it's impressive, that's for sure. The whole team, everyone. I mean, we've had two really good races to start off the season. I hope everyone's enjoying it. Hope it's exciting to watch. Hope everyone's enjoying, and thanks everyone.
Great job tonight, Craig. Look forward to chatting with you again soon, sir.
You betcha, guys. Stay safe.
All right, Andrew, so we're going to one more spot to talk to, and that is going to be our race winner in that number 13 of Christopher. I already made the back to front challenge comment to him, or to Craig, and then obviously for the intro here. So I'm going to hand it over to you, because I know you like to kind of put him on the spot.
Yeah, Chris, it seemed like you really actually put yourself in quite a spot there where you fell all the way to the back. So I was wondering if you just decided, hey, I'm going to run the high line the whole time here and just hope for the best, or did you have a plan of how you're going to get back up towards the front again?
Well, after I hit the wall, I don't know if you guys heard over comms, but my Oculus froze up and went black right after that restart, and that's what put me into the wall. So I mean, I'll be honest, at that point I was seeing red. So my goal was to get back up front, and at any cost, pretty much. I mean, I didn't go around wrecking people like a wrecking ball or anything, but I knew I did it the first time. But at the beginning of the race, it's far different because everybody's taking a little bit more easy. I got in right at the last minute, I think, right when qualifying started. So driving up through the field at the beginning of the race was much different than trying to get up through the field at the end of the race, when everybody's chomping at the bit, fighting for every inch on the track. And I just like I said, I was just seeing red after I hit the wall. I was pretty upset because I was exactly where I wanted to be. And when those two guys got together on the backstretch, I was watching, and I was just like, "Don't come up the track! Don't come up the track! Don't come up the track!" And I survived that, and then from there on out, it was just try to maintain the lead. I had several times where there was a car that stuck their nose down on the inside of me going into one, and I was like, "Oh no, this might end bad too," because at that point I wasn't going to give an inch. So it was good racing. It was clean, and so yeah. That to answer your question, there was no strategy except go forward.
I actually do want to ask about your strategy before the Oculus crash there. It looked like you were really trying to paint the white line, and it seemed like that was the best strategy. Did you ever feel like there was any point in the race where the outside line wanted to work? Because when you were racing with Fortson, it seemed like you were playing around with that outside, but it really didn't quite get there until you actually had an opportunity to find the lead yourself. So did you think that when you got the lead that you could actually paint the white line and not have that right front tire wear?
Well, what I noticed, what you're talking about with Forts in there, what I noticed early on was, uh, as you probably saw, I was trying to get around him on the outside, and really, my goal at one point was just to try to lead a lap. I just wanted to pip him at the line and lead a lap, and then just kind of fall in and put down laps. But
Okay, you were playing around with it. You were trying to find that outside, not actually to pass him necessarily at the right moment early on, but say, okay, is it around like lap 120, 125 or so, and I think I can actually get him if it's a race to the checkered.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to time it to see, what I needed to do to try to pip him at the line. And but what I did notice though was we only had like 3 or 4 laps of fuel left when a caution came out, and I was able to get around him on the outside. I noticed he burned his stuff up and was having to push up the track, so I just stuck my car there on the outside of him to make him have to lift, and was able to get the lead. And because I was running that higher line, I was able to save a little bit more tires and kind of keep it down low. And um, it worked out.
And that's what I was actually going to bring up too. Was it? We Andrew and I were talking about inside line versus outside line, and it did seem to me that after maybe 20ish or so laps, I don't have the exact number, but again, with laps clicking off as quick as they do here, but it did seem like at some point the outside line was really starting to kind of build that momentum, especially out of turn two. And so was that something you were noticing too? That like, okay, over a longer run, I can maybe make that top side work, and just kind of like you said, kind of keep him pinned down and burn the right front a little more, and try to capitalize on that part of it.
Yes, absolutely. That is absolutely correct right there. I I've raced these cars enough. I knew that if you have to stay down there and start to wheel it, put more wheel into it to keep it down low, that high side's really going to come in because you get to open up the wheel more, and you're not fighting the car as much to keep it down there. You got so much more track to work with, and you can keep it wound up. And that's how I was able to get past them early on. And had we not had all the cautions and we were able to get some green flag stops, I think it would have spread out more. But it's just, the way that it worked out. We kept getting these cautions, and everybody had these fresh tires, so it was a little bit more of a pack race than I think it would have been had we got through a green flag pit stop, and I think we would have really got strung out at that point.
Yeah, I think we kind of had the same feeling where, like I said, it's once things started to wear, that was where unfortunate caution would come out, and definitely did seem like Chandra and I turn two, the exit was definitely in the trouble spot for a number of guys tonight. But yeah, man, I mean, again, to have what you went through to be up front to have that happen again, just not much obviously you can do with if hardware failures and all that, but just the recovery drive to, like you said, to be it driving with a red mist or not, to be able to get through the field, and then put yourself in contention to win, and then to be able to get the win. Just really, really great drive tonight. Like I said, 24 spots gained, but basically having to do it twice. So definitely a hard fought win tonight for you, Chris, and definitely got to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening?
Oh yeah, I again thank 40 Racewear. Go to 40racewear.com for your sim gear, boots, gloves, apparel. Uh, Great boots. I use them now all the time. They're great. Shout out to you guys up here in the booth for coming out and broadcasting us. Hopefully we put on a good show for you. Also, teammates tonight. When I was coming up through the field that second time, they're like, "Oh, here he comes. Okay, just go ahead." Go ahead. And then Craig's like, what are you doing? Like, how are you passing people? And I was really, I burnt the tires up really good, driving up through the field. I burnt the tires up more that time than I did any other point in the race. But, you know, um, again, thank you. And thank Craig for, carrying on the Area 51 torch here, and allowing us to race on Tuesdays. It's a fun league. It's a lot of good guys out here, and good close racing. So yeah, hats off to everybody.
Congrats again, Andrew. Go enjoy this one, sir. Look forward to seeing you on track again soon.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, dragged the wrong person. Let's get the right people back over here. Didn't mean to kick you out there, Andrew. Apologies. So somewhere in that smoke is that 13 car, but man, I mean, yeah. So I mean, definitely, of course, I think more yellows than some of the guys are hoping for. But again, I mean, 1.5 mile track. These guys are cutting 24 second laps. I think looks like the fastest may have been Craig with a 23.93. So I mean, sub 24 second laps, and I mean, again, like there's pretty much no room, no margin for error in that type of situation. So. But man, what a wild one tonight. And again, I mean, just recovery drives, I think, is the name of tonight with Stouffer back to the front twice, Craig getting 2 laps down, bringing himself back up into the front. And then same thing, some new names, new faces to the league, or maybe returning faces up front there. I mean, Chris Jabot, Ryan Kelly, I mean, really, really great results for those guys tonight.
I think that this was definitely one of those Area 51 races where you really don't understand how the race is going to play out. And it's very rare to see that nowadays because we're usually seeing the same guys running up front every week. But this was one of those where people are trying to figure some stuff out. And again, I think these larger fields kind of mix things up a little bit and gives these guys that are used to running up front a run for their money. And it was definitely one to watch for sure. And I think this is one of our better races in the past. And I'm excited to see what's happening going down the road here because I think different track configurations will bring out different abilities for different guys. So I think we're going to see some first-time winners here this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. And you mentioned different track styles, and I mean, it's going to be one of those ones next week. I mean, we're Pocono. That's one of the probably the most different tracks of those, with the long straightaway and the front stretch, the 3 different banked turns. And it's going to be fun to see these drivers try to navigate what's going to be the best way to get through that one over there. So that's what's up for us here next week. We'll be back on Friday night and Sunday night for the Super Speedway side of things as well. Friday for the trucks and Sunday for the Xfinity cars. But yeah, so for myself and Andrew Wood, I really, really appreciate you guys all that are watching, supporting us, chatting along, even if you're in the car. Brandon and Matt, and Kyle, you're in the doghouse because you never acknowledged Andrew. So just you're gonna have some things to make up on. Yeah. So yeah, no comment from Andrew. This is all me speaking hypothetically. But no, joking aside, really, really appreciate everybody that's part of this one. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting us here. And of course, as always, until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good night.